Let's make some noise! Let's make some noise! Let's do this!
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello, Ritchie. How are you doing today?
Hi, Natalie. I'm doing all right. It's morning here and still trying to wake up a little bit. And I know where you're at is the evening and people tuning in all over the world. So where is it? Wherever you're watching from, is it morning? Is it you enjoying your first cup of coffee? Is it evening? You sipping something else? Let us know in the comments. We're here for you. So we'd love to chat about cameras, about coffee, about whatever you want. So I'm glad to see so many tuning in already.
Yes, it's absolutely fantastic to be back and to see so many of you have tuned in. It's fantastic. That puts me in a great mood. And I'm really excited for the show. I can tell on your mind is coffee this morning, Richie. Speaking of
Well,
which,
it's Arizona, so it's iced coffee this morning. Not the hot stuff. It's much too hot outside for anything hot, so we gotta keep
great,
cool.
great choice there. Excellent. Before we get into the swing of things, I wanted to point out that just like in the previous Q&A shows, we have a poll running, and we've posted the link at the top of the comments, and you can also scan this QR code to take part in it. We've got a couple of questions, and we would love to hear your feedback about them. So you are welcome to scan the code, maybe with your phone if you're watching from somewhere else or some other device, so that it doesn't interrupt your viewing experience, of course, but we would love to hear from you. You can vote all throughout the show, and we will reveal the results a little bit later, so don't forget about that. All right, but yes.
I was going to say, just throughout the show, revisit that link, because the questions update as we go through the show. So you'll have an opportunity right now to answer one, and then a little later there'll be another question, and you'll have the opportunity to answer that.
Yes, thank you, Richie. Absolutely. And so we would obviously love to hear where you're all tuning in from. It's great to see so many of you here, and so many of you here from all over the world. It's always absolutely phenomenal to connect with you in this way, and to feel a little bit cosmopolitan and jet-setting all over the place. We have had the viewer slideshow that was live a little bit earlier on the channel, so we hope that you tuned in and checked out all the amazing images that we've received, and that we will be revisiting.
Yeah, I hope you guys watched that. If you missed it after the show, make sure you watch that. There's so many wonderful pictures that you guys submitted and you guys took. Really great stuff. So you'll want to watch that one for certain.
Yes, most definitely. And so if you are tuning in, let us know so that we can check out where you're watching from. So as soon as we can get the comments up, we will check out with you. You are, I can see you're all typing away there and getting warmed up for today's show. And so let me just make a little bit of space here so that we can hear all about it.
Yeah, and it's amazing. We're talking about that this is a worldwide thing, that people are tuning in from all sorts of continents. Probably not Antarctica, but perhaps every continent otherwise. Dan's watching. I believe he lives up in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. He wants everyone to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks, Dan, for the encouragement there.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, as we always say, we couldn't do this without you. This is why we're here, and it's a special treat to have you guys commenting real time. And we often also hear from people who weren't able to tune in live that they catch up with the show afterwards, but it's not the same thing. So it's great to be here and and to be sharing with you guys, and also in the comments. Connect with each other, chat. There's a lot of familiar faces. But if you're new, let us know if you're here watching for the first time, or if you've been here like all the time, let us know as well. We love absolutely all of you to have you here, and connect, share the love in everything Fujifilm and JPEG related. And share it with other people who you think may be interested in watching as well.
We got IR tuning in from the Netherlands.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, very cool. And there are also a lot of names that we recognize from submissions that we received. So well done, and thank you so much to everyone already for all your absolutely fantastic submissions. It's been an absolute feast. Hi there, Jerry. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's really great to have you here.
Yeah, all the way from Massachusetts.
Yes, and who else is in the house? We have Dan, who's just finished lunch. That's nice.
Oh, the start of autumn. That's amazing.
Yes. Shame. And we're just about to get ready for spring and summer over here. We've got Angela here from the coast of the UK. Oh, she also loves coffee. Coffee number 5.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
A girl just after my liking. I do like my coffee as well. That's great. Oh, but Simon is on the, stronger stuff, which is great.
No.
I assume it's evening where he is. Well, I kind of know
Simon.
it is. Hello there. It's very great to have you all here. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And there's Torsten, who's busy with dinner and beer. Fantastic. Well, that's great.
Hello,
you all have very, very wholesome choices. That's wonderful. And hello, Robert. That's very great to have you here as well. Nice. So, yeah, but we haven't heard yet. I think there are some people who are here for the first time. Hello, Pete. Great to have you here as well. If you are here for the first time, let us know. We'd love to, welcome you properly. And we hope you enjoy the show. If you have no idea how you got here, we'll be talking about everything and anything Fujifilm related and shooting JPEGs straight out of camera.
Yep.
And there is someone. Oh, Simon is. Oh, he's drinking wine that's coming from where my hometown is. Enjoy, Simon. Cheers. All right, here we have pedal performance. I think you are here for the first time, possibly. It's great
nice
to have you here.
Nice to meet you. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, Estrella is just down the road. I used to live there a long time ago.
Gotta do that. And who else is new? There are some more new faces.
Dan's new since the last show.
Yes, absolutely. That's great. Yes, thumbs up, everyone. Big congrats all around. I think we're quite a nice group of people, and we share the love in photography. So, so let's get going, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's put this show on the road. If you have any questions or anything that you want to comment during the show as we move through the program, please don't hold back. We will get to your comments. If you don't get an answer to your question straight away, we will get to it later on towards the end of the show. And otherwise, we will see that we answer all your questions. So don't worry, just fire away as you have the questions. If you want an answer to it, it helps if you can put a Q in front of the comment so that we know that is a question that you would like an answer for. All right, and with all the housekeeping done, before we dive into the actual show, there is something that I have, a special announcement that I want to make, and and that is a very, very awesome thing that's happened this week, and that is Fuji X Weekly has turned 6. So I want to give a special shout out to Ritchie and Fuji X Weekly and say congratulations for this amazing work that you're doing and all this great content that you're putting out there. And we are in awe of you completing 6 years and 300 recipes for us for us to enjoy the love of shooting Fujifilm simulation recipes. So everyone, please can you give a big round of applause to Ritchie, and yeah, let him hear the love.
That was really nice, and I can't believe you kept that little presentation right there a secret.
Yes.
For all you guys watching, you don't know that we do, like, you probably don't realize we do show prep and all this stuff. We run through the episode ahead of time and all this stuff, and Nathalie was able to keep this from me, and I'm seeing it for the first time now. It was very, very kind, and I appreciate it. It's unbelievable to me that 6 years has gone by since it started. Everything has gone so far beyond what I ever imagined, and 300 recipes in the Fuji X Weekly app just blows my mind. So I appreciate all the kindness and all the support and everything. It means a lot to me. Thanks.
Yes, absolutely phenomenal. Great inspiration there, and just, keep it up.
Another 6 years we'll be doing this again.
Yes, let's. That's great. We've also, we're sharing some links of blog posts. Ritchie has published a blog post to give us a little bit behind the scenes look of a blog post that he's written recently. And then I thought it would be nice to also share a link to the very first post you ever wrote in Fuji X Weekly, so you can find that link there as well.
Yeah, you can see just how far it's come.
Yes, yeah. There are lots of comments coming in. We will revisit them a little bit later. Everyone applauding you. So thank you very much, guys. We feel the love. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, thanks so much.
It is a great pleasure. A huge milestone that definitely needs to be celebrated and noted. But moving on in our program, we have asked a question already in the countdown, and we wanted to give you a little bit something to think about, so that, we can hear from you what you think. And now I've lost the question. Hold on 1 second.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. There we go.
There it goes.
We would like to know if you have any inkling why, and if we use color filters in black and white photography, what the point of it is. We kind of like mentioned this in the previous show, where we said that there are film simulation recipes that call for acros, or you can use acros with green, red, or yellow, depending on what what your flavor is. And so this is kind of like how this ties in. We can either use them in the recipe or as glass in film photography as we used to. So if you have any idea about this, please let us know. Give us your best shot as to what you think the use of color filters is in black and white photography.
Yeah, we'd love to hear what your definition or what your thoughts are on that. We were having this discussion before in the pre-show or in our prep that you're talking about, like, on your Fujifilm camera, you have just the standard acros or monochrome, but you have plus Y, plus R, or plus G, and those are supposed to simulate using a yellow filter, red filter, or green filter. But this all comes from the actual film photography, in which you could put a colored filter in front of the lens and shoot through that, and it would change the way that the image looks in some way. And some common ones are red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and there was even other colors that were less common. And so we would love to know what your thoughts are why people would choose to do that, and even why you would choose to do it in your Fujifilm camera with the simulated filters. Do we have any guesses?
Do we have any guesses? Let's have a look. See, sorry, there was something I needed to quickly attend to in the back office here, but we're all good now. So let's see if we have guesses. Our comments are coming on. We had a bit of a hiccup in the technical department as far as the comments is concerned. So we're just a little bit behind there, but do bear with us and give us your best guesses why you think these color filters are being used, and we will pop them on the screen just now. In the meantime, hi Hugh from Nashville. It's great to have you with us as well. And yeah, let's see. I can't really ask you if you have any idea without you giving away the answer, Ritchie. All right.
Yeah.
It's a bit tricky, this one. We used to, in previous episodes, and especially in the last season, we used to always ask a trivia question, and we wouldn't know the answer to the question, so it was a bit easier for us to, not know the answer. But this time around, it's a little bit different. But I think we're there now. I think we have our commentator up in the back of house, and he will bring our comments on. I see some comments coming through already. There are some interesting ones.
Well, thank you, Torsten.
all the congratulations. Yeah, we will get to them. Or maybe our commentator is checking that we go through them now. We'll see. He probably has to catch his breath. I think he was a bit stressed out. But give him a moment.
And that was from the technical difficulties,
Yes, as always.
So whenever you do a live show, there's going to be hiccups and bumps in the road. It's never a smooth process, but that's part of the fun of it. And Stanley is in the background. One of these days we'll get him in front of the screen, so you can see him for yourself, and hopefully, he's got a lot of good things to say, so it's always insightful whenever he talks. So we need him to be a guest on the show, but for right now, he's in the back.
Yes. There we go. There are some questions coming through. So Pilot Pete says he thinks we should enhance or desaturate certain contrast in black and white with color filters. Okay, that's interesting. Thank you for your guess. And Torsten also thinks we should we use them to contrast enhancement of shades in the grayscale. Okay.
Good guesses. Those are good guesses. Yeah.
Very good guesses.
Yeah, those are on the right track.
All right. And Simon thinks we use them to gain contrast. This is why Ritchie recommends Acros Plus Red in the black and white recipes for landscapes, for example, I guess. Very good guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is this why you recommend them, Ritchie?
Well, yeah, because like a red filter will make blue turn darker, for example.
Yes.
So if you have blue sky, especially you have some clouds in the sky, it's going to turn it darker, going to increase the contrast there, add a little bit of interest to it, I guess.
Yes, like Dan's saying. Exactly.
Yeah, they do make your camera look cool. Everybody's looking at it and seeing the red on the...
Yes, that too. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, but Robert feels he rather sticks with the yellow filter. Also very good. Yes. So Dan uses color filters with film to increase contrast, darken skies, and also to reduce light in older cameras with slow top shutter speeds.
Oh, that's an interesting point there on that last one. I hadn't considered that, but yeah, that's a really good point. Because like a red filter, I think it's a 3-stop, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while, but I think you lose 3 stops of light with a red filter.
Okay, very interesting. Nice. Thank you. I did not know that either. And Jerry says filters are used to block for blocking certain frequencies of light. This is turn, accentuated other color frequencies. Red is best for dramatic skies, green for foliage, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Jerry. So yeah, so it looks like we've got filter experts here in the audience. This is awesome. So I think all these comments deserve a. Thank you, guys. This was great. And just to, for completion's sake, the answer that we were kind of looking for was to increase contrast and drama. Just a very general answer. But obviously, there are a lot of more ways that they can be used. And I think we got a really good idea already. And they are a phenomenal creative tool to use. And
so the point would be to use them correctly, or use the right filter in the right situation. So we had like this discussion, like for example, Ansel Adams' famous moonrise over Hernandez. You guys probably all have seen that picture. If you haven't, go look it up. It's a wonderful picture from Ansel Adams. It almost looks like it was captured at night, but in fact it was a daytime image. But because he used a filter to darken the blue sky, it turned black almost, making the moon and the clouds pop out, and just a really dramatic picture. If he had used a different filter, let's say a blue filter, it would have been completely different. So use the correct filter in the correct situation, and you will increase the contrast and drama of the picture.
Yes, and it's a great way to get creative and experiment with it. So I think we invite you all to try that out. Yes, I'm thinking maybe we should have used that in the challenges. But anyway, we had great challenges anyway. So yeah, let's hop on over to what we are going to talk about today. We have great images lined up, and we are going to have a look at them. And as always, we are going to recap a little bit about what we talked about in last show, and we are going to then look at a lot of images which you've submitted. We've already mentioned it before that the slideshow has already premiered, but if you have not caught it yet, you can go back and watch it later. We've received a phenomenal amount of images. They're absolutely fantastic, so don't miss out on that. Big shout out to Ruby, who's here for the first time live. Great stuff. It's nice to have you here. And then we have Nasim, who's new to Fujifilm and new to the channel. Welcome. It's absolutely great to hear you. And I think Mark is also here for the first time. That's really awesome. Thank you so much.
That's my old stomping grounds right there. We about a little over a year ago lived in the Ogden area, so it's nice to see somebody tuning in from there.
Yes, absolutely fantastic. It's great that you've all found this channel. It's wonderful. And makes us very happy because we love sharing and our passion to shooting straight out of camera and to make the circle bigger. So if you've, if you've made it here, then also share the love and share it with others who you think may also be interested in this. And we are just going to quickly run through some of the congrats on your 6-year anniversary, Ritchie, because there were quite a number of comments, so we want to not hold back on those. There's a big congrats from Robert. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Robert.
And also Ruby, who clearly came here through your blog. So congrats also from his. Jerry says a huge congratulations. You are one of the best things that has happened in this global Fuji community. Thank you.
I appreciate the kindness.
And a big congrats from Dan as well.
Thank you, Dan.
Pilot says thank you and congrats. Amazing community.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations also from Eva. And thank you. And Joe Booker Jabu says congratulations and acknowledgements. I think you're also new to the channel, so big up to both of you. It's phenomenal to have you all here.
Well,
and
that
calls
all means
you a
so
true
much.
SOC pioneer, and he even sends you a red apple.
Red apple, I'll take it.
Oh, great. Happy birthday from Angela, and congratulations. She thinks it's such a great site, and thank you for sharing all your wonderful recipes. Yep. I think we are all in agreement that what you have created over the last 6 years is absolutely phenomenal. We would clearly not be here without you and all your work. So, yeah, so take that, and I hope that later on today, you will turn your coffee into something different to celebrate accordingly.
Well, I just appreciate all those kind messages and the encouragement and everything. It just means a lot to me, and it's so wonderful. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, great. No, I'm in this really, really festive mood here. Nice. And on that happy note, I think let's dive in to the actual part of the show. Are you ready for it, Ritchie?
Let's do it.
Okay, fantastic. So, as you have heard by now, we are going to check out black and white photography. So the beef of the show has already happened at the beginning of the month. We this year split the show into 2 parts. We have a theme show at the beginning of the month and this Q&A show at the end of every month. We look at images that have been taken with what we have talked about and suggested and challenged you guys at the beginning of the month in this theme show. So we are going to quickly have a look at what it is that we talked about at the beginning of the month. But if you missed the show, please check in the channel, go back to the episode. I think we had a really nice show and we were able to share quite a lot of interesting things. So make sure that you catch up with it if you missed it.
It was a good broadcast. So
yes.
definitely watch it if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, so for everyone who's new, this is how the month usually starts. We pick a theme. This month was black and white photography, and we look at what that actually is. So we dug a little bit into what makes black and white photography or black and white photographs stand out and so noteworthy. We shared a couple of tips on how you can improve your black and white photography. And I would like to say at this point, we spoke about this in preparation for the show, Ritchie. I think we've noticed that there are a number of people who've been submitting images for quite a long time, and we're hugely grateful for that and all your support and for, journeying with you through this epic journey. And we feel like we've really seen how your photography has improved. So as we go through the images that we will look at, it would be awesome for everyone who's here, who's submitted images, to share a little bit in, how they feel about it. Is it the challenges, or is it, every theme that you look at, or the recipes, or how do you feel about your journey in this? From my side at this point, just want to say a big up to everyone. I think you've all outdone yourself this month.
Yeah, this month in particular stood out. The pictures were just so on another level, and we can see through our journey of this straight out of camera broadcast, and you joining alongside us, we can see your growth as photographers, and your pictures are improving, and that really struck out to us, especially this month. So we wanted to point that out and give you an opportunity to comment about that if you'd like. You can comment about your own journey, how you feel you're going along on it, where you are in the path. You can comment on other people's journey that you've noticed their pictures have been improving or especially nice or anything like that. We'd love to see the chat just light up with your guys' comments back and forth to each other and to us, and we'd love to see that.
Yes, most definitely. Very well put. And also part of all these questions that we have is the poll that we posed, that we spoke about earlier. So don't forget about that. If you tuned in a little bit later and missed it, here's the QR code that you can scan and answer the questions that we pose throughout the show. So don't miss it. You can vote all throughout the show, and we'll reveal the results towards the end. Alrighty-o. Diving into this month. So the recipes that we suggested and recommended for you were these 4 very similar yet also different recipes, and kind of like a summary of the good and challenging sides. And I would like to hand over to you, Ritchie, just to give us a little bit of a rundown and summary of them, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so when we're talking about black and white recipes, because there's not differences in color that you can see, they can all kind of blend into each other and seem really similar. And you start to wonder, well, what's really the difference between one recipe and another, and so forth. Like if you're talking about like classic negative and Velveeta, they couldn't be further apart, But when you're talking about Kodak T-Max P3200 versus Kodak Tri-X 400, what's really the difference? They're very similar. But I think when you're looking at the T-Max recipe, for example, since I mentioned that, it's the only one of this group that has like a monochromatic color to it, which it's very subtle. You might not notice it when you're just looking at the images, but when you look at a T-Max image and then you look at an image capture with another recipe, it becomes obvious that it has that color to it. And so I think that's pretty cool. But otherwise, it is very similar to Kodak Tri-X 400. Not all that much different, but a little bit different. And then I think the Across recipe, which was the first Fuji X Weekly recipe, by the way, it was the original one. It also is very contrasting and sharp, like Kodak's Tri-X 400 and T-Max P3200, but it's a little different on its own. It's slightly different, but it doesn't have clarity, for example. So it's good for quick shooting. The one that's most different to me in this group is the Ilford HP5 Plus 400, because it does have less contrast, and you really notice that when you shoot in a flat scene. And when you shoot in a flat scene and you use that recipe, you get a kind of a muddy looking picture. But if you use it in a high contrast scene, it can sometimes be like the perfect recipe for it. So I think those are the differences when you look at these 4 recipes.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you for that, Ritchie. I do think also that summarizes it quite nicely. And as always, we try to include a bit of a widespread so that no matter what camera you're shooting on, you'll be able to participate. And we also try and incorporate some recipes without clarity, because we know some of you have fast fingers and want to take lots of pictures. And obviously with clarity, that's a bit more challenging. So yeah, but I think looking at the submissions, they were pretty even. So I think everyone kind of like enjoyed all the recipes, and a lot of people shot with many different ones. So it was really, really nice to see. Because one of the challenges, the first challenge that we always give you is obviously to shoot with the recipes that we recommend and then share them with us. And shooting with the different recipes will give you, more of a feel to what the different recipes give you, what kind of results they give you, and what kind of look you get with shooting with them. And we've changed it up a little bit this year. We want to give you some more challenges, and they seem to be paying off. This is what we were saying just now, is that we see more and more of you taking up these challenges, in particular now with black and white. Maybe it's got to do with black and white. We are not sure, but we would love to hear your answers from them. Is it easier with black and white, or do you go to this step quicker, where you concentrate on something in addition to just taking the photograph? So is it capturing shadows, shapes, or patterns? And then obviously the cherry on the top, do you dare to shoot in high ISO? And we have some very daring people amongst you who did shoot in high ISO, and that is very great. So we will get to look at those images just now.
Yeah, and I wanted to kind of mention here that I wonder, because black and white is a little bit abstract in just the nature of it, doesn't have any color, if it kind of just puts you in the mindset to look for light and to look for shadows and stuff like that. And so it kind of, just the subtraction of color forces you just subconsciously to do that. And you guys watching, you can let us know in the comments what you think. Like, does black and white photography kind of make you look at the scene differently and look at light differently? And did that help you? Because we had a lot more people do the challenges than in previous shows. Did that help you with that? And I want to applaud those who did shoot at high ISO, because I can't tell you. Yeah. I was just reading a photography book, and I don't want to put down the person who wrote it or anything, but it was saying that try not to go above ISO 200. I mean, in digital photography, like that was their max, and they didn't like to go beyond that. And I get, sometimes every once in a while somebody will say, why isn't DR 400 available on my camera? And it's because they're not using a high enough ISO. When I point that out, they're like, wait, I have to use ISO 800? Oh my goodness. It's an uncomfortable situation for them. But in reality, you can go much higher than that and still get great results. And we'll see that in a little bit.
Yes, we will. Great stuff. Let's dive in there.
Yep.
All right. So first up, we wanted to give you some real life examples of the different recipes that we have recommended. And let's dive in right there, starting out with Kodak T-Max P3200, and applauding a first-time submission from Maria, who sent us this picture. And I think it's a really good example and sample for Kodak T-Max P3200.
Yeah, it's also a very challenging light situation, as you see the big windows, and it's obviously much brighter outside than inside. So there's a big dynamic range, challenge going on there. But it's a very nice picture. I like the lines on the bench leading to the people sitting on the bench and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a very interesting image. Well done, Maria. Thank you. And then we have also an image from Simon, who also shot in Kodak T-Max P3200. And you can definitely see the nice grain in the sky that we're looking at here. And and he's using shapes and lines and structure to create this really interesting image.
Yep.
Cool. So that was recipe number 1. Recipe number 2 is Ilford HP5 plus 400. I don't know, all these have really long names.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could have named it more simple than that, I guess.
Well, it's the name
Some
of the film
tongue
stock,
twisters.
though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we appreciate that you give us the opportunity to shoot with film, even though we're shooting in digital, and that goes all the way, including with the recipe name. By the way, that reminds me that all these recipes represent film stock that is actually still available today. Correct me if I'm wrong.
So I think is T-Max P3200 still available?
I thought so.
It
But
might
maybe
be. I'm
that's
not
the only
100%
one.
sure on that. I'm not 100%. But anyways, so Cody sent or uploaded some really interesting pictures, and we picked this one to showcase this particular film simulation recipe. But if you guys didn't catch the show, the viewers images slideshow that aired just before we went live, make sure that you catch it afterwards so you can see all these great pictures, including the other ones that Cody submitted.
Yes, they were phenomenal. I stumbled across them actually in the film simulation Facebook group, and connected with him there, and invited him to share, which he took up the challenge, which is fantastic. If you want to go into the Facebook group, he shared a whole series of images, also a couple in color recipe. So if you really want to dive into his rodeo experience, you can check out a lot more images there. Well done on these.
Yep.
So that is an introduction to Ilford, but we have a second image that is very different from Dan, who is in the audience. This is Dan Farah. We have 2 Dans here today, which is great. And he shot this image, and I love the striking contrast between the very black and then this white bird obviously standing out, which is very eye-catching. And I think that's...
and also
really,
a tough
really well
image to capture. I'm not an avid, bird, photographer myself. But in the attempts that I have made, I can tell you that it's very challenging to get the focus on it, to get it not to be blurry from the motion, and that kind of thing. So well done, Dan.
Yes, it's definitely a tricky one. That's very well captured. And thank you for submitting. And then we're moving on to recipe number 3, which is Kodak Tri-X 400. Which has so far has been, and I think still is, an audience favorite. It's really just such a wonderful, fun simulation to shoot. It's it'll turn any scene into something interesting, I think.
Yeah.
So, but this is obviously outstanding, this landscape, snowy mountains that Jonathan submitted. I absolutely love this photograph.
Yeah, it's a very iconic black and white scene, and great job.
Yeah, fantastic. Well done for spoiling us. And then we have another first-time submission here by Douglas, who sent this image in Kodak Tri-X 400, and I think this is also a really good example because you see, the dramatic sky and the moving ocean with that, what do you call that? Not the foam that's coming out of the waves. There's a name for it, but anyway, it looks really dramatic and very interesting.
Yeah, and I've shot Kodak Tri-X 400 at the ocean, and just always love the results. So if you're going to the beach, make sure you have that one loaded into your camera.
Yes. Yes. Don't leave your house without it. And then lastly, we have the good old Acros, which is obviously, as you said, the very first recipe that you published on Fuji X Weekly. So it's a double celebration, and really fantastic recipe for great black and white dramatic captures.
And of course, Bjorn, being a 747 pilot, is flying high above the clouds for this picture. You know, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's really phenomenal. So thank you, Bjorn, for this amazing capture and for making Acros look amazing. And then we have an image from Angela, who sent us this picture, which is also really fantastic. There are so many different shades of grey in there, and I think it's a fantastic capture. And that seagull up there is just like the best.
Yeah, it's very interesting getting that like kind of a blue hour time period and doing black and white photography. It's you get some interesting results that way.
Yeah. And there you have it. Those are the 4 recipes that we shot with this month. And I think you all did fantastic.
Yeah, those were all very wonderful pictures.
Yes. So let's see how we fared through this month. As always.
Yeah, because we're not only we're not only the CEOs, we're also the clients, or whatever the phrase is. We don't just ask you to do the challenges, we do them ourselves. And so, so we shot with some film simulation recipes, and for our challenge 1, here's our pictures.
Yes, here's our pictures. So, Ritchie always goes first.
Yeah, so
he's the brave one.
So this was with the first recipe, the original recipe. And just dramatic sky, some dramatic light that was peeking through the kind of the late evening sunset, illuminating the top half of that building. What you don't see necessarily right away, but I would love to point it out, is in the shadows, kind of at the bottom right, there's a car and a bicyclist racing each other across the intersection there. And that's a little surprise. It's my surprise. I like to add a little surprise. But you know, your eye is immediately drawn to the building itself in the sky.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. I love the drama in the sky. I love a good dramatic sky, and this one also, and how the church then really bounces off the background.
Really it's actually not a church. It kind of looks like it. That's an ice cream place below on the first level, and then the upper above it is like apartment.
Oh, well, if it hosts ice cream, it is kind of like a holy place to me too. Nice. Sorry, I thought that was a church. Anyway, and for a little bit of fun, always nice to shoot some black and white animals in black and white. And
of course, the zebra is perfect for that.
Yeah. So, just a quick hello in Kodak Tri-X 400. And like I said, it's really my recipe of choice. If in doubt, go with this one.
Nope.
And then for challenge number 2, we also needed to look for shadows, shapes, and patterns. And Ritchie, you found some hose pipes.
Yeah, we got some fire hoses here, wound up, and I thought it was interesting. I thought it was both shadows and patterns or shapes. Mm-hmm. You know, it's kind of all of that in one, and yeah.
You captured everything in one.
Yep. And so that's what it is.
It's fantastic. No, I absolutely love it. It's really, really cool. It's so simple yet so captivating. So it's really nice. And obviously, the awesome Kodak T-Max se03ep10.
Yep.
Nice. I also like that recipe. And I also really enjoyed shooting in Ilford HP5 plus 400 and had a little bit of fun with my dog here playing in the garden.
Yeah.
A selfie shadow picture.
Yeah. No, that's pretty cool. Yeah. The dog looks so big, in the shadow.
Yeah. Yeah, well, big at heart. Yeah, but
I like the
it
leaf
was nice.
in the top left that's sitting there. That's the surprise you put in there.
That was, I put that just there for you. Almost. Nice one. And then we were shooting in high ISO.
Yeah, so this is Kodak Tri-X 400 with ISO 12800. So
Yeah.
I bumped it up there and thought it looked the graininess that comes out in the sky. I thought was really interesting. It definitely gives it a analog feel. Like it could be somebody could look at that and think that it was maybe a film picture.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, most certainly. Yeah, 12,800 ISO people. Yeah, we just shared a link in the comments about shooting in high ISO, and this picture wasn't quite 12,800. This was shot at 10,000 ISO, but
still really high.
Pretty high up there. And what I appreciate about this, and this is why I chose to show this photograph of my daughter and her boyfriend. Our daughter's just left us. She was here to visit. She's back in the Netherlands studying. We went to a place where we were enjoying the sunset. And so obviously the lights goes very low, and if you know me, you know that I always enjoy playing around with sunbursts, which obviously requires you quite a high f-stop, so you quickly run out of light. So shooting in high ISO is perfect for this one.
Yep.
So if you ever require a situation like this, don't be afraid. Bump up the ISO.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I just also quickly wanted to say thank you all for the comments. It's really great. We can maybe go back a little bit later to have a look at those comments together with the images. We are a little bit delayed in seeing the comments versus the images that are on the screen. So apologies if we lagging behind a little bit there. All right, but that was our challenges. So well done, Ritchie. Let's see how the images turned out that we received from you guys. You, like we said, did a phenomenal job, and we want to have a look at what you did. So let's jump right in there. We are starting out also here with shadows, shapes, and patterns. And
Yep.
I think this image kind of like also incorporates all of them a little bit.
Yeah, this is it's very striking. Like, incredible image.
Yes, it is. Definitely lots of shades of gray in this image, and also the shapes of these street lamps, I guess. Very striking indeed.
Mm-hmm.
So so this was number one, and then we have another submission from Dan Allen, who also shot in Kodak Tri-X 400, and this is just on another level, Dan. Very well done.
Oh, yeah, such a cool picture.
Yes.
Yeah,
definitely.
you might think it's a mirrored image, but the jets are flying. It's actually two different jets flying that close to each other, one upside down.
Yes, I kind of like wish it was a mirrored image. That would make me a little bit easier. But then again, I'm not a fighter, a a fighter jet pilot. So, but that is crazy. Just looking at this is kind of amazing. And let me just do this here. So, I am opening up the comments so that we can look at the comments straight away together with the image. I think that makes a little bit more sense. And yeah, Robert's wondering how this image was captured. Very well done indeed. I don't know how you did that. Dan, how did you do that? You are here. So shout out if you want to give us when you see your image. Okay, he says that the clarity was added in post. Right.
Yeah, so that's a good point. When you're shooting with a recipe with clarity, and you need to be fast because you're photographing F-16s at an air show or something. If you shoot like RAW plus JPEG, you can go back after the fact and reprocess the file either in camera or with XRAW Studio and add the clarity back in at that time. That's actually Fujifilm's recommendation.
It is, yes, absolutely. And, that is still an out of camera JPEG because you're not using any other editing software. You're merely relying on the camera. Mm-hmm. So that is a very good trick for those kind of situations. Nice one. Alrighty, what else have we got? We've got a really cool submission here also from Hugh, who went with the zebra crossing mm-hmm. And found some really nice shapes and patterns here. It's absolutely, I love this umbrella and the zebra crossing.
Worked out perfectly for...
Yes. Yeah. A rare find indeed. So well done on this one. And also Jerry, who also captured shadows. These interesting shadows. Yeah, it almost looks like a zebra crossing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is that there's so much going on in this image, but I think because it's black and white, you don't immediately focus on all those distractions that are in there. You focus on the shadows, those lines, and the people walking through them, through that little highlighted gap. And then after you see that, then your eyes start to wander to the other parts of the image and to pick up on those interesting little details that are in there.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And maybe that's also how our eye works when we actually then shoot in black and white, is that we can, because we also don't have the distraction of the color, we can see those shapes and patterns before we see color and can focus on that a little bit more and get those striking images. So yeah, extremely well done to Jerry for this one. And there was also a shout out from Robert about this. He says, great timing. Love how the people seem to check what you're capturing there, finding nothing on the wall. Nice. Thank you guys. You're really doing an awesome job today. It's really wonderful to get so many comments.
Yeah, it shows, so much depends on your guys' interactions and everything. You guys make it great. So, yes. Definitely thank you for that. And then Robert sent us this really cool picture. And I was wondering, I don't know if Robert's tuning in today or not, but what I'm wondering, how big are these posts that we're seeing? Are we using like an ultra wide lens and they're actually not that big? Or are they like 20 feet tall? I'm really curious about that. It's an interesting picture.
Yes, Robert is definitely here, so he can tell us what we are looking at. So let us open the floor here and let's see if he can tell us. What I love about this image is the tones. I think in this image you can really see Kodak's T-Max P3200 working a great deal because these tones are just absolutely amazing. I absolutely love it. I think it's so dynamic. And apparently it's an art installation.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Okay,
poles
and the
are
poles are
really
really
tall.
tall. Okay. Yeah, it's really interesting. I liked how the ones at the top are kind of dark, and then the ones at the bottom that really stretch into the frame, you get a range of grays starting with dark and going all towards light at the top.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. So
Oh,
that works really well.
Simon wants us
Another
all to
poll.
guess.
Nice. Yeah, great stuff. Thank you guys. Alrighty, let's go this way around. And then we have another image from Roger, who took this picture and he played around with color filters. So he shot this in Acros and used the red filter in addition to that. And I think that works really well.
Yeah, and those I don't know if they're tables or they're circular shapes are really what makes this image, what it is. It's pretty fantastic. And in color photography, it might be easy to overlook that that pattern, or the light might reflect off it differently. But you can
Yes.
see in with this recipe in black and white, it really stands out. And Roger did a great job of identifying it and capturing it.
Yes. Very nice indeed. It's very dramatic. I absolutely love it. Well done. And then we also have Torsten's image here, which was shot in Ilford HP plus 400. And I think he did an amazing job with the shadows and light situations and the shape and everything. Again, a very, very dramatic, dynamic image. So well done on that.
Yep.
Great. And he has also just tuned in. Well, I think he's been watching
it's
for a
always
while.
amazing. It's always amazing when you take something as simple as like a chair sitting outside and you create an interesting picture from it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's being a photographer right there, and really being able to identify the simple things that everybody else overlooks, and create art out of it.
Yes. Very interesting. Very interesting, well executed shot. And we were just waiting for the comments to come through. There are a couple of people, giving big ups on those. So yeah, we Robert agrees with us that it's very minimalist, so it's great. Very nice, well executed. And Torsten himself was also commenting that he is looking at the images at a distance. So he's giving himself a little bit of distance between himself and the TV.
Okay.
So that's great. Nice. All right, great stuff. So this is the first part of the challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And now we are jumping into shooting in high ISO.
Challenge 3.
Yes, challenge number 3. And like we said, we are no longer scared of high ISO. We love it. We embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys have done an absolutely phenomenal job. And let's start out with Ivar, who's submitted this image. And he captured this simple yet so dramatic scene beautifully.
Yeah, I like the leading lines that take you all the way to the sky. It's pretty well done, and finding the road, I guess, empty like that. It looks like it's a fairly major road, so that may have been challenging too.
Yes, but this is how good 6400 ISO can look in Acros. Mm-hmm. And there we've got Robert, who's commenting on that one. So let me just preempt this comment. He's loving that. Thank you so much for all your great comments. It's really nice to hear. And from the road to nowhere, we are moving to an evening in Wilmington, maybe?
Yeah, I guess so. I believe in it.
Again in 6,400 ISO, this one in Ilford HP5 plus 400. Submission by Stephen. Very nice as well. And taken advantage of an evening scene with these lights and the billboard. That's really great. Thank you, Stephen. And then we are moving on to Enrico's submission. And that was Kodak Tri-X 400. And this is ISO 12,800, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's just incredible. Like, I'm a sucker for these type of scenes anyway, these kind of urban decay, and then they get the reflection with the graffiti and everything. It's just really nice.
Yeah. A really interesting shot. Great stuff. Thank you, Enrico. And while we are looking at his image, we were talking about this earlier as well. He sent us a little note together with his images, just to give us a bit of background. And everyone is invited to do the same thing if you feel you want to give us some more background information on your images that you're submitting. And he mentioned this is for a different image that he shot in less high ISO, which is why we couldn't use it for this one. But he did say that he posted one of his other images, and his comment that he got was, "Oh, film, it's great how good film looks," or something to that effect. At least this is what we are interpreting his comments to look like.
So when you watch the viewers images slideshow video and you see Enrico's picture and it's got a large building and dramatic sky, you'll see the picture. And when he posted it on social media, somebody thought it was an actual film photograph.
Yeah, that must make your day, Ritchie.
It does. It makes my day, and I hope it made Enrico's day too.
Yeah, I think so. Would have made my day. Nice. Thank you guys for spreading the love there. Great. And another stunner. This one from first time submission, Liam, who sent us this image. So definitely interesting to look at ISO 10,000 in Kodak T-Max P3200.
We were looking at this and trying to figure it out, and I think it's reflections in glass at a studio. I don't know if Liam is watching, even if you're watching after the fact, if you're watching now or watching later. Definitely would love to know what exactly we're looking at here. But,
yes, please.
But yeah, it is super interesting, an extremely interesting picture. And I think it may be reflections on glass at a recording studio. And if you have any background information, we'd love to know it.
Yeah, I do think so. Also from the other images that he has shared that you will be able to see in the slideshow. He does shoot quite a lot of bands. So I could imagine that, this is definitely a studio shot, and that he's got access to areas that not everyone can photograph in. And he would also possibly know this recording studio, so he can really work it and get great angles. But that is merely a guess from my side. So Liam, if you're watching, whenever it is, please do enlighten us how you captured the scene. We would love to know. Also, we have opened another poll question. So please go and vote you'll have your say in the poll. And if you have not gotten the link, it's also pinned in the comment section, so you can go and cast your vote. We will look at the results a little bit later. Robert is as confused as we are. So all we can say is like we have no idea, but maybe we will find out someday. And maybe Liam will shed some light and let us know how this amazing image happened.
Yep. And I agree with Simon. It does look like a 70s psychedelic rock band's album artwork. I'd probably listen to that band myself, but.
Yeah. But it made for extremely great conversation. And I guess that's what photography is all about, isn't it?
Yep.
And having said that, we are getting to the last image of this evening, and this is a submission by Bo, who photographed this really great scene in ISO 6400 in Kodak Tri-X 400. Mm-hmm. He said that it was the rooftop of some museum that is extremely difficult to get so empty. And he was very happy to, capture the scene. And this lone lady walking there in the middle definitely creates some additional drama and lots of awesome lights.
That's what makes it interesting. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it would be a completely different picture if it was crowded or if there was nobody. But the fact that there's this one person on there. That's what makes it a really interesting picture.
Yes, it definitely does. And I would think that it is also a good lesson in patience. Yeah. Because sometimes you just really need to wait for the right moment. And, this is definitely the right moment for this picture. And so just I wanted to say well done, Bo. And I also wanted to say to everyone, Bo is not with us this evening, although he usually tunes in and we usually see quite a lot of him in the comments. So if you were wondering, he is not with us today. He even excused himself. He cannot join us because it's his birthday today. So we thought we give Bo some birthday greetings together with his image and say congratulations on a great image, on an awesome birthday. And we hope that when you are watching this, whenever this is, that you enjoy the show. You had a wonderful birthday. And
happy birthday!
From all of us. We are missing you, but obviously we hope that you are celebrating with family and loved ones.
Yep.
So there we go. Share the love. Bring on the birthday wishes, everyone. And hopefully he will be able to join us again next time.
Yep.
So thank you, everyone, for playing along and for sharing the love and for sharing so many comments. It's been absolutely great. You commented so much we couldn't even show all the comments, but we hope that you have all been able to connect in the chat during us showing all these images and to really give a good idea as to how amazing all this black and white photography and all the different recipes are. And if you haven't yet shot with those, maybe it's given you a little bit of inspiration and an idea to, to grab the camera and try to shoot with some black and white.
Yeah, and honestly, if these pictures that we've seen today and the ones in the viewers' images slideshow don't inspire you to go out and shoot black and white, I don't know if there's anything that will, because it's just incredible images, that you guys have created and shared with us. You guys are amazing and very inspirational.
Yeah, absolutely. We really do feel that way. It's very honest. We have been doing this for over 2 years now, where we've been looking at images and where we ourselves also, I guess, shoot with more recipes and experiment more. And it's a great journey and it's wonderful. I think this is such a great episode to celebrate so many different things, which is...
It's a celebration episode.
Yes, yay. It is. And also, don't forget that we want to get a little bit more feedback from you, because this is really how we really take this to heart, and we want to hear your thoughts on different questions and topics and things. So, have your say. If you haven't yet, you can scan this code, and we will be going to the polls just now and look at how you voted. But it's very real time, so don't worry if you haven't yet. You can still scan the code now, or check the link in the comments to go and vote or, answer another question. So, yeah. So, let's go to the poll section and have a look-see. So we've asked a couple of different questions, and the first question that we have was, as always, we want to know which was your favorite recipe that you shot with. So we've received quite a number of responses already, but if you haven't yet, you can still vote even now. And even if you didn't scan the code earlier, this little code that you see on the screen right now is also scannable and will get you to the same poll, so you can still cast your vote right this very moment. But it looks quite even there between Kodak Tri-X 400 and Kodak T-Max P3200. Very even indeed, and also between the other two recipes. Yeah. So that's nice feedback.
And it's not to say that those other recipes are not good or anything like that. As we've seen from the pictures, they're all capable of capturing incredible pictures. But I do think the Kodak Tri-X 400 and the Kodak T-Max P3200 are fan favorites, I think. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So thank you for informing us about that. It's great to hear and good to know. So thanks for taking part in that poll of ours. And then we have a question that we would like to answer. So it's not a question, not a poll where you kind of like select an answer, but where we actually wanted to hear from you how you prepare for shooting in black and white. So what do you actually do? How does it differ from shooting in color when you go out and shoot in black and white? How did you capture the images that you've submitted? What were you doing beforehand? This kind of scenario.
Yeah, so it's not multiple choice, it's fill in the blank. And we just love to know, like, it's kind of open-ended. So whatever you want to, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just what you want to express to us, and we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, and I think it could be quite valuable for someone who's starting out with black and white and not quite sure where to start, because it can be quite daunting. It is a very different shooting experience, but obviously being able to see what you are capturing in black and white beforehand helps a great deal, and it makes you able to learn quite a bit. But the first answer that we had here, the second answer, we have an anonymous statement that says you start with a good black and white recipe and load it into your camera. So that's obviously a very good start.
Yeah.
That's great. And then this is my own way of looking at it, is that I don't know how you guys feel, but I have this, I really went all out, and I did nothing but shoot in black and white for these whole couple of weeks, and it seems like it gets easier to pick up patterns, shadows, and different kinds of scenes with lots of contrast once you really tuned in to shooting in black and white. So if you really want to immerse yourself in it for a while, it will definitely help you over time to see your world in black and white.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing.
No, I think that's, when you're, a lot of people's approach to black and white, and I'm not saying in this community, but in photography in general, is that they go out and they take color pictures. And if they think it might be a good black and white picture, then they'll convert it later to black and white. But I think when you see the world through black and white, when you see the lights and the shadows and everything through black and white, you see it differently, and your pictures turn out differently because of that.
Yes, absolutely. And then we had an answer from Robert there as well. If we can just put it back on the screen. He says he was trying to have a concept, and he was looking for light and shadow, very concentrated while out as well. So I think this goes in a similar direction, where you just really focused on something different. And I kind of picked up on this, and this is probably what we're seeing with all the submissions, is that the challenges really helped to focus on the things that make images really interesting. And yeah, you really translated that all beautifully.
Yeah.
So well done. So I think it all came together really nicely in the end. And I couldn't be happier and more proud of all of you for shooting and doing what you did. And for all the comments and the interactions, you guys are again on fire today. It's wonderful to be hanging out with you here. Absolutely phenomenal. And if my mind serves me correctly, I think this is the second poll question. There is another answer from Jerry before I move on. He says, I look for different types of scenes, focusing on looking more at the quality of light and shadows. Yeah. Fantastic. That's like a school book answer. It's great. Yeah. And we can see that in your images. Yeah. That this is really what it is. Like we said, you need to see light. And yep. You definitely did that. Thank you. That's great. And Eva says, I don't prepare. I just make photos in black and white. One day or a week with one black and white recipe. That is obviously a great other approach to it.
Yeah, I do that sometimes myself. Is like I'm just filling black and white, right? And so you just use that for a period of time, whether it's one outing or whether it's a whole day or a whole week or a whole month or whatever it is, And I think that's a fun way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it also depends on what it is that you're shooting, the location where you're at. Maybe you get somewhere and it screams black and white. So obviously then, you indulge in it. Yeah. This past month was maybe a little bit of a, intense kind of a workshop scenario to get you there. And Torsten says it has become totally easy with the system cameras. I think he means, the mirrorless cameras, because you can see black and white in the viewfinder. I'll just see if it looks interesting. The world has become easier. Absolutely, definitely. It is a great tool. And Simon had a lot of fun where we had a lot of sun with always sleeping on.
A circular polarization filter. Okay, so he was using a circular polarization filter in addition to the using the plus R in the in camera.
Yes, basically.
Yeah.
Yes, because obviously he's in summer at the moment. The sun is very strong, so he needs to take out a little bit of light there.
Yeah, and that CPL will that'll darken the blue sky, to make
Yes.
it even more pronounced.
Absolutely. Great stuff. Excellent. Well, thank you guys for all your feedback. We have one more poll question. I am not sure if you have voted for this one already. Let's see. How keen are you now to shoot more black and white images? So now that we've had this intense kind of a scene, or you've had some inspiration from all the images that we shared, if you haven't voted yet, as you can see, the votes are still open. You can scan the code and, punch in your answers there. But it looks like you guys are keen, which is great,
Yep.
which is exactly what the idea is behind the show, that we will, show you a little bit of the ropes and give you some inspiration and some reasons to pick up your camera and shoot awesome JPEGs straight out of camera. There we go. Definitely
Yep.
keen.
That's awesome.
Nice one.
And we that's why we're here, is to help you in these different ways. And if we can help you to shoot more black and white because you found it fun or helpful or interesting, and just judging by your guys' photographs that you guys really embraced it, and it really brought you to a new level in your photography, and so for you to have done that and still want to move forward in the future, just doing more of that, that's amazing. And we're so honored that we could have a small part in that, in some way.
Yes. It's been a blast. Absolutely fantastic. Great stuff. And once again, thank you so much for voting and for giving us this feedback. That obviously, helps us as well. And so great stuff on the polls there. And I know there are quite a few more comments, maybe a couple of questions in the comments as well, so we can, have a look and give you all the answers that you're looking for if you're still awaiting for those, because you maybe have asked them earlier on. Uh-oh. Oh, well. Sorry, not sorry. And I know I'm not alone in this. Ritchie feels the same way. It is a fantastic camera, although I must say I never owned an XT4. But it is fantastic.
Well, I enjoy the XT5 a lot. I have it. Well, my wife has an XT4, and she's let me use it for this broadcast right now. So the image you're seeing of me right now is from an XT4. And I think the XT4, the reason I'm using the XT4 instead of the XT5 for the broadcast is because the XT5 will overheat and it won't make it through a whole show. So, but the XT4 and the XH1 are great for this type of thing. Both those cameras are especially good for long broadcasts and that kind of thing. So the XT4...
Tried and tested.
Yeah. But, with that said, the XT5, I think, is because of the screen. I like the screen on it a little bit better. The flippy screen on the XT4 has its place, but I prefer the screen on the XT5. And but the cameras are pretty similar overall. I like nostalgic NIG, the film sim, so but honestly, I use my X100V and my XE4 probably a little bit more than the XT5.
Yes, I think you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's great. And then we have a question. You can only bring one prime lens for a weekend city trip. What do you bring? Ritchie, what do you bring? One prime lens.
Well, it's probably going to be the 27 millimeter f2.8. That's my, I like that, and I like the 90 millimeter f2, but that one's I'm not gonna use that as my only lens. So uh, if I feel like maybe it's gonna be a lot of like low light situations, I might opt for the 35 millimeter f2 instead of the 27 millimeter f2.8. But I know for you it would be the 23 millimeter f2, right?
Yes, it would be. It would be. It's really ridiculous. I have been shooting with it so much, and maybe this also comes from because I used to shoot with the X100 a heck of a lot. But for a couple of reasons, I did not update to the X100V, and so I kind of like use my X-T5 like an X100V in a lot of ways. And I've been trying to teach myself to shoot with other lenses. This is obviously now for me, for my personal stuff when I go out and shoot, not for work. But I often feel like if I go with the 16 f1.4, which I also absolutely love, it's an amazing lens, but I often feel it's too wide. And then if I go with a 35 f2, or maybe even a 50, then I always think it's too narrow. So I always end up back at the 23. So for me, that's definitely the right focal length. But it's a very personal kind of a feel, what kind of lens you shoot with. Yeah. And Pilot Pete says, we have 7 custom spots, and replacing one of my existing Fuji X weekly recipes given me anxiety.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. Maybe Fujifilm will start increasing that on future cameras. Give us C1 through C10 or something,
Yes. More like 100.
Yeah.
Robert says a black and white lends itself well to be more deliberate to find certain scenes and subjects. Was a very nice exercise, as I do not shoot black and white much. Might change though. Great.
Okay.
That is very nice to hear.
Yep.
Well done, and yeah, it's good. And we hope you keep it that way. Keep shooting black and white. And then we have Adventures of J&K saying, I like to shoot in black and white even if color is the end game. Okay.
Yeah, and I've heard that before, where people will put it to a black and white profile, whether it's Fujifilm or another brand of camera, with the idea that they'll be able to see the light, see the shadow, and then later on convert it to be a color image in software or whatever.
Yeah, interesting. Just make sure you don't only shoot in JPEG. Jerry says, I shoot black and white very differently than color, exactly as you said, focusing on shapes, shadows, silhouettes, or a very specific gesture or a moment. Yeah, it shows, and that's great.
And then if you can carry that into your color photography, shooting in black and white can make you a better color photographer.
Yes, I definitely think so, and we will definitely put that to the test in the coming weeks. Simon says, anytime I dialed in the HP5 recipe, it appeared so flat to me that I directly went back to Kodak T-Max P3200. Yeah. That happens.
And that's what I feel is like in the right situations, that Ilford HP5 recipe is absolutely fantastic. If the scene isn't contrasty to start with, it does come across as being flat.
Yes. And Robert feels with Simon, he will try it in future. That's the spirit. Shame. Yes, the HP5 recipes that we've seen are great. The right recipe in the right moment will do it. Just keep on trying it out, and I'm sure you will find also a really good situation for that recipe. No doubt. Yes. I don't know if you've seen that also. We've noticed that in the premiere of the slideshow that we posted, we kind of made a bit of a boo-boo with the portrait pictures. They seem to have been cropped in the wrong way. So we will redo that and make up for it. We're really sorry about that. Eva says, I make already 54 years black and white photographs. Nice. That is really cool. It shows too. Thank you, Jerry. Yes, definitely great pics from everyone. I love taking in how everyone sees the world differently through their photography. It helps open my eyes and grow. Fantastic. That is absolutely phenomenal. Great to hear. I assume that is his one lens that he would take with if he only had one.
Yep. It's a good lens.
Great. Yeah. Oh, and Robert.
He would bring all three.
Robert, you can only choose one. This is 3 lenses. And Angela is on a 35 f2. Okay, that's great. Well, they're all great lenses, and they'll all give you great results.
Yep.
And Simon says, if it was a weekend in the desert, I don't know if it's about the lens or about the recipe.
If it's the lens, I'd still go with that pancake lens. I really enjoy that one. The recipe, maybe something like Vibrant Arizona. I actually like 1970s summer for those with X-Trans V cameras for desert photography.
Okay. Although black and white would also be really.
Oh yeah,
really
I did some of that. I did some of that with all 4 of the recipes. So yeah, all 4 of these that we've been shooting.
Yes, definitely. I have a note here about another poll, so we can go back to it quickly, but let's just look at Simon's comment before we do that. He says, I also do not shoot black and white excessively, but always try to have at least one black and white recipe on my camera. I think that is a really good approach, because you will definitely come across some scenes that will be amazing in black and white. So it's good to be prepared. And another comment from Jerry saying, great point. I think that means Ritchie. Kevin Mullins always talks about keeping the viewfinder in black and white to better learn to see the light, even when desiring a final color output.
Okay.
Well, if Kevin Mullins says so. An absolutely great photographer and a wonderful resource. And definitely something about that. Simon says there was a blog post where he wrote about bringing the 90mm into the desert, but even there he ended up running backwards into a cactus.
Yeah.
Well, yes,
true.
that could happen.
That's very true. That's a true story. Yeah, you have to be very careful with that one. It is a beautiful pic. The 90mm, just absolutely stunning pictures that it produces, but it can be challenging to use because you have to back up so much, and in the desert, sometimes if you're not paying close attention, you can back up into something you don't want to back up into. So
yes. Nice one. Great stuff. Okay, let's quickly go back to the poll. I'm being told I need to go back to the poll, so I better do as I have been told. So let's have a look, see what we are getting here. As far as I can tell, this is still the same question, but I think there must be another one coming up just now. And if there isn't, then there isn't. So maybe this was the wrong message I got here. I'm not quite sure. I'm a bit confused myself now, but be that as it may. We have a subscription to give away.
yes.
So I think we should rather do that. Because everyone who's participated in and uploaded at least one image will take part in this. So if you've submitted an image, your name is on this wheel, and you're standing a chance to get a 12-month subscription of the amazing Fuji X Weekly app. So let's go and spin the wheel and see who we can make a winner today. Let's go for it. Let's see. So many names on the wheel. It makes me very happy indeed. Yeah. And
it's Cody.
We have a winner. A new first-time submission. Cody Allen, congratulations. The 12-month subscription is yours. We will make contact with you and see that you get your prize as quickly as possible. So here's to lots more rodeo pictures, and we hope you will enjoy your prize. Thank you so much for your submission, and to everyone for submitting. As always, it is amazing, and we couldn't do this without you.
Yep, and it's my understanding you spoke with Cody via Facebook or something, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so I'll leave it to you to reach out to him and let him know should he not be watching today.
Yes.
And anybody who's won in the past and you didn't realize it and you haven't claimed your prize or whatever, just reach out to me and we'll get it all worked out. So congratulations to Cody. Yes. And I hope you enjoy the year of being able to filter by camera and film simulation and access to the early access recipes and all that fun stuff.
Yes, 300 recipes to date.
Yep.
Great stuff. Alrighty, and speaking of recipes, we have another show coming up next month. We are switching things up. We are going to focus on 3 killer recipes that we would like you to try in the show coming up. And please, all the regulars, listen out to this one. In the next show that is on the Thursday, the 14th of September. So it's not next week, but only on the 14th of September. And we will, look at some sample images and suggest 3 recipes. So you best make sure to tune in and find out what these recipes are. And
we'll be in color. We'll be in color for that one.
Yes, they definitely will be. Hint, hint, the thumbnail in the background kind of like gives a little bit of an idea. But yes, this is what's coming up next month. So stay tuned in and listen out for this one. The easiest way, of course, to stay up to date is if you subscribe to the channel. So if you haven't yet, make sure you do and hit the notification bell so you stay in the know for everything that's happening on this channel. And if you know anyone who could possibly be interested in also joining this channel, why don't you go and share that with them and tell them to subscribe as well, because we'd love to grow this channel and it would be absolutely phenomenal. The more the merrier. It would help us greatly.
No.
And there we are.
It's that time.
It is this time. And we did ourselves proud yet again. It's been a long show, but it's been phenomenal. And you guys have been fantastic. And you've all stuck around and had so many great comments that we just could not help it. And just kept talking and talking. And had so much fun ourselves. But
yep, yeah, it was a great time.
It was definitely a great time. So thank you to everyone. Thank you, Ritchie. Thank you for all the great work yet again, and congratulations once more. I hope today and this week will be a great one of celebrations. And thanks to the audience for being such troopers, for all your submissions, for all your comments, for your questions. If there's anything that we haven't answered, we will check back and make sure that we will give you answers in the comments. So if you feel left out, then please don't worry. We will get to your questions in due time. And if you've been watching this as a recording, then please don't worry. Ask your comments and your questions, and we will get to them. Thank you to everyone, and thanks again to Ritchie. It's time to say goodbye.
Yep. Thanks for everybody for tuning in, and it's been great, and it was fun to be here with you, Natalie, and Stanley in the background, and everybody who were able to tune in, and we had a great time, and we look forward to seeing you in middle of September.
Yes, absolutely. And thanks for your patience, for dealing with us in the live and all the slow commenting in the beginning. And also, again, apologies for the slideshow. We will rectify that, and then you can go back and watch it again and see all the images with all the details. And now it's time to say goodbye. Thanks again, Ritchie. Thanks to everyone. It's been absolutely phenomenal. We'll see you again in September for a much shorter show. Until then, Keep well, stay safe, take lots of awesome JPEGs. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Good night, and thank you for watching. We hope you enjoy the show.